You can hear it. Words. You can feel it. Words. So don't ever underestimate it. Words. Just remember, POETHON. This is POETHON. Stick with at the end. Don't you know that? Open up your heart and be ready. It's time for POETHON.
Plicool. My thoughts were here and there. I was trying to understand life, but I felt restricted by her cage, and her iron doors did not let me explore. And so it suddenly dawned on me that we're not doing what we know is important to do. We lack the force needed for us to change the world around us. And that there could be a loss because we know what to do, but we pause, thinking that it cannot happen, or thinking that it can happen but cannot come from us. That there's a curse. So that pain is there. That pain comes when we know where to do something, but we do not. Feeling like there is no thing available to effect the change, and so we do nothing. But we're supposed to affect people's lives. We're busy looking for who they rush us. We're to create some valuable change in our spheres, but we settle for mediocre and are impatient enough for our rice to dawn that we don't have rice on our plates anymore. We're not only leak stew. What a stew nation. Everything is incredibly peppery. The sun, peppery. The moon, peppery. Your house, peppery. You see, Africa is hot like we burned the ozone since 1663, but we can change all that. We can start by looking at that man that has an ineffective life and sorting that waste and make it revived, and actually making it revived, not just having it in mind, but working towards it and making it defined. See, it's not so hard. Taking charge is you setting and scoring goals. Actually, score own goals is fine. I mean, they are your own goals. It's what will gear others up. Bro, sis. By that, the contract would have no breach. The contract is between you and the one who gives one the power to charge up the world. He is the ruler of everything. He is God. In the contract, he would say, subdue, dominate, and replenish the earth. Because that's what's up.
The first time we met, I forgot my heartbeat in you. Before we met, I was groomed to believe that a good woman is the crown that makes a man feel like a king, so I was ready to fit. Little did I know that some men need no crown but rags for their feet. But some people say that only women are given the license to become the devil. Only women are given the license to become the devil. Only women are given the license to be violent. But that's not true, because violence is unisex. I discovered that truly that love can sometimes lose a memory, but never our self-respect. Even domestic animals are treated as pets, so why should a wife be treated like an animal that belongs to the wild? They said a good woman should be this, a good woman should be that. I can be anything for you, but not a walking dead. I give you the liberty to be the head, but not to end my breath. I can be an actress for you, but I cannot play the character of a mute wife whose outing routine is a ground fake smile that oppresses the laughter on the faces of others. People, do not be deceived. The smile on her face is an ex-convict. The bail has been paid for. Images you see through the review of some women's makeup appear with more stories than you think. Leaving ghosts out your corridor. Do not mind the facade. The dark shade is not there to fulfill the prophecy of fashion. Even the concealer is there to conceal our pain, but underneath this powder, Mary in care. Erasing the contour is like taking a tour around the stomach of depression, but the lipstick is to sink in the fairy tale that beauty actually tamed the beast. But this type of beauty is bought in cosmetic store. It's not natural, more like advert illusional. Our face is a 2-story building. The topmost is occupied by expensive makeup, but the person you seek lives on the ground floor. She just can't take the shade off. She burns in secret. And her secret is the fire that burns her up. So the makeup is to cover up the tracks left behind every night by a fraudulent frenemy, a support partner that teaches her that fine beating can also rent you a room in a cemetery. Hear this. If his anger boils over 100 degrees, he's simply the wrong person to owe. Do not wait to recite the poem written by a mother titled I Stayed Only Because of the Kids. Just love enough not to love stupidly. Fall enough not to fall stupidly. Love him enough to run. Run enough to love yourself. Love him enough not to die for him, because Jesus already did.
Fruits are falling from the family trees. The ground is taking all of them. The branches are balding out. The flowers die before they get a chance at blooming. I see the browning of all the leaves, and new fears grow inside of me. I heard that the earliest survivors of the slave wars were those who learned to play dead, and my lungs grew hands ever since. Hands to hold my breath in the face of danger. I heard that the faster they ran, the farther people were away from their last breaths, and my heart grew feet ever since. Feet that keep it racing back and forth in the face of death. My existence is a eulogy, a recurrent gospel in the mouths of a voiceless people. A people who want to sing, speak, scream, but how much of the tongue can be reclaimed from a possessive silence? My survival is a safe house on the other side of a river, but I've heard about black people and our fear of the water. Our bodies be too dense to stay afloat, our skin and its negritude be too heavy to make it through the tides. Black people will always be anchors, heavy question marks seeking answers in the depths of the deep. My grandfather once told me that there is a drop of blackness beneath every body of water. I believed him. Then he tells me that the water has no enemy. I want to believe him too, but the same water that brought them to us took us away as slaves. So when they say Jesus walked on water, I know that they mean Peter was the entire black race. All we do is be faithless and drown. My ears are in tune with wails that echo from slave times, but my hands tell me that this is no poem about black people and our fear of the water. It is about a quicksand country and its unique ways of drowning people. I am learning that the cold hands of death and this country share the same fingerprints, and they've been touching lives ever since. They've been leaving marks on families ever since they got their names. Children, fruits have been falling from the family trees, and the ground, country has been taking them with jaws wide open. The generational gap is filled with tombs, with bones broken to sizes too small for relics, and bodies too mangled to stay in our memories, and spirits too broken to inhabit our bodies. The country is ripping children it did not plant in our bellies. I have seen mothers raise dead babies towards heaven, then I have seen miracles dropping from the sky. My grandmother mourned a daughter. Her own grandmother mourned a son. Mothers before them mourned their husbands. Teardrops falling at their feet as if to recognize their queenship. These women moved from wives to widows to alone, moved from mothers to childless to alone, moved from sisters to survivors to no more. Who knew death could be family heirloom like that? The country is all soft soil and hot air. We are either drowning or burning, sinking or running out of breath. The country is a noose around our necks. We are either hung or hanging, hung like cancer. We were hung up on failed promises, hanging onto hope soon to be hanging down from ropes. The country holds no space for creatives. All it gives us are sad songs and obituaries. Our love poems read like requiems. The country is an almost bald head, and we, the people, the fruits, are the receding hairline.
What if I had an exclusive, extensive explanation? What if I had an exclusive, extensive explanation? An expansiation of unspoken expressions, exceeding exotic exhibitions expertly exercised after expert examinations. What if your external concoctions and your internal qualifications, your heavenly modifications, you are an expression of God's perfect creation? What if they're giving me heavenly visions and messing with my intuitions? But what if I cut the chase and just go straight to the conclusion? What if I said I love you? You see, you were an accident waiting to happen, and it has happened because I had fallen in love with you. I have broken my insecurities and fears. My vulnerabilities have been exposed like swords, which is why I keep coming back. Like the waves will return to the shores even after it's been pushed back. You see, if my life is going to make sense, it is you I require. It is a cold, cold world. I am in need of your fire. I want to rip off logic and make passionate sense to you. Because life is not a word. Life is not a paragraph. Life is a sentence. And I want to end this sentence with you. So you don't have to be right for me when I'm closing the curtains on life. I want you to be all that's left with me. If I had to choose between breathing and loving you, I would use my last breath to tell you how much I love you. Because thinking of you keeps me awake. Dreaming of you keeps me asleep. Being with you will make my life a whole lot better. I love you more than words can describe. Feelings can explain. Thoughts can imagine. See, you're a sip of eternity in a world overrun with vanity. And yes, I know we might not yet have chemistry, but this literature is inspired by your biology. You are fine art, irrespective of your geography. Everybody says good morning, but really a good morning will be waking up to a woman like you. And now I know exactly why Solomon had 700 wives, because he never met you. You see, the Bible would say charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting. That verse doesn't apply to you. God will give the Israelites manna in the morning and manna in the night. Titi, I am man enough for you. And I don't know, you could be a church girl and you should have accepted Jesus in your heart, but please, you have space for two. The fire of God burns in you, I can see it. You're the hottest woman I've ever seen. If you're hotter than this, trust me, God will send another flood. I would work 7 years and accidentally marry your sister. Work another 7 years just to get your number. Yesterday, I was reading my Bible, the book of Numbers, and it just struck me that I actually don't have yours. Thank you.
Again, the offspring of brutality has set the workers of earth ablaze. 1 minute, we're romancing the earth with our toes. The next, our blood is what the soil tries to filter through. The soil finds hope that can fly. Pain too wet and cannot dry. The soil finds you, your sword, your will. You kill. Next, my master is gone. The humus lost the urge since you burned my people and buried them in me. My intestines are clogged. We cannot purge this out. Constipated humus, bloodied clay, help. Help. I do not come to you by force. I come to you by erosion. A part of everyone is in this soil. Everyone you stabbed, everyone you butchered, everyone you asked nicely with a rude weapon to give their time to the wind, blown away, lost in clay. Yesterday, I was burned again, prayed on, purified. But how can you purify the eyes of a saint, innocent, looking through the soil to find means to feed? How can you plant a seed in the skull of my owner's son, dig deep into his daughter's chest and expect that her heart germinates your seed? Yesterday, I decided to let go, let them rot, let them bless this soil again, and they did. Now, I have a new owner, a new life, a new mind, and yes, you violence reincarnated in your son. He inherited your will to kill everyone in isolated land, burn them up, burn their crops, burn their animals, burn their bodies again. Constipated humus, bloodied clay. The middle belt cries to be purified. From your shadow, from your generation, O violence, the middle belt has been far too broken. The middle belt needs rest. And since the middle cannot see the top, let he who is on top stop the raid.
He calls sweetly, but in my ears it sounds like the sweet melody of mockery. How? Why? When my father has doubts about my bet, poking fingers of accusation into my mother's eyes. In his words, my dream can never create such disaster. It was clearly written on my forehead how much of a bad omen I was. I mean, every search for freedom trapped me in the worst cell. My escape plans served as death traps. So many messes created, I became the mistake. Ahuna, he beckoned. This caused my anger to brew. In my drunkenness, I allowed gravity have its course, falling freely into the cold, accepting embrace of the blue waters. My eyes popped open, ready to confront the man whom they said allowed me into this earth. But the beauty of the skies faced me. I carefully stood up and tiptoed out of the water, following that voice that haunted my thoughts. Ahuna. This time I had the call for adoption. This time I recognized the intention. And this time I walked into his open palms and rested there.
I have a dream. Wait. I don't remember what it is. Because I'm too preoccupied chasing happily ever afters. Falling into rabbit holes, pretending to be an Alice in a wonderland of public proposals, diamond rings, social media braggadocio, and future weddings. So I dated boys to men, hoping they could give me moral support like push-up bras, but I was let down like saggy breasts because they were nowhere to be found like old nipples. Traumatized when I repeatedly got victimized by men who were drunk on their own pride. Men who swept me off my feet just to get in between my thighs and tell me lies, and all I could do was run my mouth because my legs were spread wide all the time. All the while the sons of Issachar understood the times I wasted mine on foolish frivolities till it seemed like I lived anti-clockwise. I stayed stuck on men that kept me on my back till my wheel fell asleep and my mind developed bed sores. Men who after the sex vomited Kenneth's words like regurgitating toilets. How can anyone know? How dare anyone undermine the keys of this poet? Laced with figures of speech unheard of, I gave oxymorons to reciprocated with sweet nothings. Civil servants with nothing to offer but their lip service. Expert puppet masters who were quick to say no strings attached even when it was obvious I was strung on till I hung on. Traded my life goals and aspirations for wet dreams till I drowned in realities of bitter tears and regrets. You would think that I would have learned. I have a dream. Wait. Honestly, I stopped caring. Prided myself on not being the materialistic lover, so my love materialized from unrealistic expectations. I became limited by my self-imposed limitations, not conceived from my mother's womb, but existed as a result of my desire to be desired. Wasted my nights staying woke, consuming morning afters after the nights before, impregnated by the latest trends and throwing up on public bathroom floors. Trust me now, I always dressed to kill, but every boy I loved could see the cups I called my self-esteem, buried under layers of perfect cosmetic coverage. You can guess that the foundation of my thinking was every shade wrong. Now I'm grown up, worn out, bone tired. I have a dream, but I don't remember what it is. So can someone, anyone, sing me a lullaby so I can fall back asleep?
I come from a bloodline of people who have journeyed through the deepest nights in hopes of getting high, call us Johnny Walker, an ancestry of warlords, for we are not just war heroes, we are legends. We are they who never go down fighting, we are the last man standing, cause in the face of gross darkness, we are the resistance. a native people who speak a language of resilience. We are fierce. Even the air tells of our tale of bravery. We spread our wings and fly like super eagles. We aren't just a bunch of empty ends. We glow with pride. A generation of them that also through the night for the prize of the morning star. But how do we stand united when we are constantly being haunted by red devils lurking around our theater of dreams? Yet I've come to realize that you don't need a big bang to drive the darkness into hiding, nor do you need the infinity stones to snap out of the shadows. But the shadow is but a fading reminder that there is a light nearby. But stay too long in the shadows and you are bound to forget what light beams like. This I know, because the shadows held me for too long. But I am the light of the world, so I flipped my switch on, and like Nelson Mandela, I took the long walk to freedom. The shadows have got nothing on me, because I took a blood test and tested positive for light. And you, my friend, you are my kinsman, but we share the same DNA. So shine like stars in the night sky. Shine.
Life is a jungle. Don't always expect justice. It won't be served on the table. There will be trouble, but none you can't handle. So slam the door on fear, don't give it a tap on the door. When it browses through your space, it will cause you to cripple. For your belly, you will triple like a ripple effect. In fact, life not per head now. Market. Shop wise and shop right from left to right. Pay for originals and not counterfeit. See, fake feet counter your feet is slippery. See, a fulfilled life is not always a fun-filled life. No be ice cream, but it seems like cold stone, and only the hot souls who do the hot doors with red eyes survive. It's like Game of Thrones. Forget nest of king or nest of queen. You better be on your feet because life is streets and it's soccer. Put on your Nike and just do it. Take your dreams to bed, to your pregnancy, your head, and just push it. It's all about responsibility. Respond to your ability. Life is one big game controlled by so many rules. So let me ask you, who are you and what do you stand for? Some live for snapshots and the glory of billboard, but not every face on billboard fears God Lord. You can be a billboard and still be a poor boy. Popularity is not equal to prosperity. It's not a direct proportionality. If you think stay at the line, ask that Instagram slave queen. Hashtag I get that sauce. But she can't eat chicken sauce without calling one boy. She be shaking her bum on Insta, be speaking grammar on Twitter, depending on grammar for Easter rice. And these days our girls run after G-boys who turn them into G-force to attract more money. Our boys make money to impress girls, but their money they get the best. They forget to say, my pikin, God bless you. But that was, oh baby, thank you. You could make person pikin they get sense, and them say school na scam. So everybody they rush computer, but like bad stabilizer. Don't be everybody.